everyone, and welcome back Chess with MNM, and also welcome back Chessable Masters online tournament on chess24.com. As we know, started the finals between Carlsen and Anish Giri, and also as we know, Carlsen won the first round of the tournament against Giri. And also, if you're watching my videos, and also if you watched my previous video, you will know that Carlsen won the first game against Giri, okay, of the round two. And now, the second and the third games ended by draw, and now we are in the fourth game of the round two. Now, if Carlsen win this game, or if this game end by draw, so technically Carlsen will win the tournament, and if Anish Giri win this game, so Anish Giri will continue in the tournament, and I mean Anish Giri will have the chance to grab the win from Carlsen. So let's see what happened in this exciting game. Anish Giri with the white pieces, Carlsen with the black pieces. Anish Giri opened this game by d4, queen's pawn opening by Anish Giri, knight to f6 here played by Carlsen, c4, e6, knight to f3 played here by Anish Giri, d5 hitting the center by the d pawn, knight to c3 played here by Anish Giri. Now if you watched my previous video, the first game of the round 2, Carlsen was with the white pieces and Anish Giri with the black pieces. Anish Giri here played c5, and then Carlsen responded by c capture on d5, and after knight capture on d5, Carlsen here pushed e4, attacking the knight capture on c3, pawn capture on c3, and then pawn capture on d4, played by Anish Giri, and then bishop to b4 check, bishop to b2, capture and capture, and I mean, and then both players played some 25 move or something like that, and then that game, Carlsen won that game. Now here instead, Carlsen here with the black pieces, and instead pushing c5, Carlsen here played c6, and after bishop to g5, here Carlsen played knight b to d7, and now he changed it. He turned it, the position from queen's gambit decline to the Slav defense. Here at this position, the most played move or the main line is playing bishop to e7, okay, and this, they call it to this the queen's gambit decline. The main line of the queen's gambit decline, and okay, but instead bishop to e7 here, Carlsen said no, I will not play bishop to e7, I will not play c5, because I'm playing to draw. I'm not playing for win. So simply I will play c6. Strong defense and a little bit not passive, but it's a strong defense against d4 and c4. Okay. So bishop to g5, and knight b to d7 played, and now e3 preparing to develop this bishop. Now queen to a5. Now the queen on the a5 is pinning the knight on the c3 square. Also, this queen on the a5. Putting a pressure on the g5 bishop after d capture on c4. So the white here has to be careful. Knight back to d2 played by Anish Giri, and now d capture on c4 played by Carlsen, attacking that bishop. So bishop capture on f6, and now knight capture on f6 played by Carlsen, and here knight capture on c4 by Giri, attacking Carlsen's queen. Queen back to c7, and now rook to c1, bringing the rook into the semi-open c file, also on the queen's file. Bishop to e7, preparing to castle. Bishop g3, sorry, I want to play bishop to g2 to develop my bishop on this nice diagonal, and then I will castle. Here Carlsen castled, bishop to g2, developing the bishop, preparing to castle, rook to d8, bringing the rook into the game, and now here Anish Giri simply castled. And now bishop to d7, developing the bishop a little bit, also connecting the rooks. Here after bishop to d7, e4 played by Anish Giri, grabbing the control of the center by this nice pawn structure, e4 and d4 pawn structure, also preparing to pushing e5 at some point. So here b5 played by Carlsen. As you grab it, the control of the center, then I will grab a space on the queen side too. Knight back to e3 played by Carlsen, by Anish Giri, sorry, and now queen to b6, preparing to pushing something like b4 at some point. So here e5 played now. Now e5, the idea that I'm attacking your knight, grabbing a space on the king side or on the center, let's say, and also opening the diagonal for this bishop on the g2 square. So here knight to d5, developing the knight, moving away from the threat, also closing the diagonal on this bishop. Knight to e4 played now. Knight to e4, the first idea by this move is that I don't want to exchange any piece because I'm playing for win. And the second idea is that I want to play this maneuver, and this knight c3 into the e4 into the c5, and develop my knight on this beautiful diagonal, okay? So here after knight to e4, bishop back to e8 played by Carlsen, and now a3. a3 preventing any ideas like knight to b4 or bishop to b4 in the future for the black. a5, I want to keep grabbing a space on the queen side. So here queen to d3, activating the queen, also developing it, and now rook to a7 played here by by Carlsen, sorry, controlling the 7th rank by the rook. And now knight to c5 played, developing the knight on the c5 square. And here a4 played by Carlsen, keep grabbing a space on the queen side. Until this position, both players playing perfectly, both players playing the best move that the engine recommending here. And then after a4, bishop to e4 played here by Anish Giri. Anish Giri by this move started the attack on Carlsen by attacking his h7 pawn. So h6, preventing or protecting the pawn, and now rook f to d1, bringing the other rook into the game. Queen back to b8 played by Anish Giri. The main idea by this move is that when I capture on the c5, you will not be able to capture by the pawn, because if you do that, then I mean you will lose your e5 pawn. So the queen on the b8 is putting up a show on the e5 pawn. So here queen to e2 played now by Carlsen. Now queen to by Anish Giri. Queen to e2, that I want to shift my queen into the king side to make a nice attack or a strong attack on your king. So here b4 played. I want to do something on the queen side. Knight to g4 played here by Anish Giri, and now pawn capture on a3. Pawn capture on a3, and now this time on the c5 controlling the b7 pawn, and not all of this rook to come into the open file. So simply bishop capture on c5 played by Carlsen, rook capture on c5, and now rook to b7, developing the rook on the open b file. And here bishop to c2. Now bishop to c2, there's two main ideas by this move. When you play something like rook to b2, then you will not attack my queen, okay? And the second idea, that at some point queen to d3 or queen to e4, it will be a nice idea, because I mean I'm threatening something like queen to h7 check, okay? So here knight back to e7 played by Carlsen. The idea that if you play something like queen to d3 or queen to e4, then I have this knight to cover this diagonal by knight to f5 or knight to g6. But here Anish Giri said I will not play queen to e4, I will not play queen to d3, but I will start my attack by my knight. And here Anish Giri played an amazing move actually, and also unexpected move for Carlsen, and it is knight to f6 check by Anish Giri. This move was so strong move by Anish Giri. Why? Because here Carlsen here played king to f8, okay? Now the question here, what happened if you capture that knight? And the answer is that if you capture, then I have pawn capture on f6, and if you play something like knight to g6, and this is the best move, I'm attacking your knight because I'm attacking your knight, then I have queen to e3. So strong move. I mean, now I'm attacking your h6 pawn. Also, the threat after queen capture on h6 is queen to g6 checkmate. So if you play something like king to h7, protecting that, protecting your h6 pawn, so then simply here rook to h5. Rook to h5, I'm threatening checkmate in 2. Queen capture on h7, and then queen to h6, sorry, and then queen to g7 will be a checkmate. How to prevent this? There is no way to prevent this. Here, if you play anything like bishop to g7, then bishop capture on h6 comes, king to g8, and now queen to g7 will be a checkmate. So for this reason here, after knight to f6, you are not able to capture that knight. So here king to f8 played by Carlsen, and now queen to g4 by Giri. I mean, here again you cannot capture the knight, because if you capture, then I have pawn capture. If you play something like knight to b6, then I have queen to h5. Now the problem is that your king is not on the g8 square anymore, so the threat is queen capture on h6 with checkmate with queen capture on h6. You will play king to g8, and then queen to g7 will be a checkmate. So for this reason you are not able, not here, after queen to g4. You are not able to capture that knight. So here rook to b5 played. Let's exchange some pieces. And again he said I will play rook knight to h5 first, threatening checkmate on the g6 square, g7 sorry, g6, and here Anish Giri again played queen to f4. If you want to capture that knight, capture it. It's not a problem for me. Queen to f4, the idea here that if you touch that knight, then I have queen to h6 check. Okay, king to g8 is the only move, and now queen to h7 check, king to f8, and now queen to h8 check. The only move is covering by the knight, and then I have queen to h7, and then you will lose your knight in the next move. So for this reason here, with better position, for this reason here, after queen to f4, Carlsen here blundered. Carlsen here blundered a terrible blunder, because the idea here that by queen to f4 is now I'm attacking your h6 pawn with queen to h7 threat, okay, checkmate. And the problem here, Carlsen blundered, and Carlsen here played knight to f5. Now what Carlsen was thinking, actually I don't know, but Carlsen's idea is that if you capture by the bishop, so now I cleared the e7 square for my king, okay? So if you play something like queen to e6, I'm not forced to play king to g8. I have the e7 square for my king. So here after knight to f5, rook capture on b5 played, queen capture on b5, and now bishop capture on f5 played by Anish Giri. I want to capture on the h6 square. So here for this season, Carlsen pushed g5. g5 is a beautiful move actually by Carlsen, and this is the best move. I'm attacking your queen. And here, Anish Giri didn't play the best move at this position. Anish Giri here had a huge advantage, okay? But Anish Giri here played queen to f3. I mean, Anish Giri still has a nice advantage and also a huge advantage, let's say. But the best move here was queen back to c1. And the idea here that when you capture that bishop, then I have h4, and h4 will be so strong move. Now the idea by queen to c1 is keeping this queen on this diagonal. So here example to putting a pressure on these 2 pawns. Example, if you capture pawn capture on h4, then I have queen capture on h6 check, king to e7, and then I have queen to f6 check, king to d7, and then I have queen capture on f5 with the check, and then this knight comes, and then I have pawn capture on h4, strong passed pawn on the h file. I mean, it will be so hard for the black to continue this game. And the engineer he says that the white has a huge advantage. So after queen we're here. After g5, unfortunately, Anish Giri didn't see that idea, and Anish Giri here played queen back to f3, and now e capture on f5 played by Carlsen. And here, Anish Giri played terrible blunder. I mean, this is the most terrible blunder in all of the tournament. Here, Anish Giri simply had to play knight h5. Sorry, knight f6. What h5? Knight from the h5 into the f6. Knight to f6. The idea that this knight on the f6 square is so strong knight. I mean, the first idea is that this knight on the f6 is on dark square. So this bishop, this light square's bishop, is not able to attack that knight, and this knight protected by pawn. So if you want to capture it, then you have to sacrifice your rook or your queen, and by this, the white will be up materially. And also by knight to f6, now I cleared the h5 square for the queen to come into the h5 to attack the h6 pawn with h4 also. And I mean, the white here has a huge advantage and nice. Yeah, I mean, the white's position is better. But unfortunately, Anish Giri, sorry, what f4? Unfortunately here, Anish Giri missed that idea. Anish Giri here played instead knight to f6. Here Anish Giri played queen capture on f5 and queen capture on f5, and now the engine says that the position is equal. Why? Because here after queen capture on f5, here Carlsen simply played queen to e2, queen to e2, attacking your rook, also your knight. How will prevent this? There is no way to do that. Rook to c1 played by Carlsen, by Anish Giri, sorry, and now bishop queen capture on h5. Now why this position is equal? Because here the white is able to climb the draw by threefold repetition. Here after queen to f6. Okay, queen to f6 here by the white. And now rook capture on d4 played by Carlsen, and here simply queen to h8 check, king to e7, queen to f6 check played, king to f8, queen to h8 check, king to e7, queen to f6 check played, king to f8, and it was at this position that this game ended by draw for threefold repetition, and by this Magnus Carlsen win the tournament. I mean, did Anish Giri deserve it? I mean, Carlsen didn't deserve actually to win this game. Carlsen didn't win this game actually. This game ended by draw. But I mean, Anish Giri deserved the lose, because Anish Giri, I mean, here where queen to f4, here from knight to f6 into queen to g4 into knight to h5 into queen to f4, Anish Giri was playing perfectly. But here after queen to f4, here Anish Giri knight to f5, let's say here here Anish Giri played his first mistake, and it is queen back to f3. After pawn capture on f5, Anish Giri missed so clear move. I mean, how can a chess player missed a move like this? I don't know actually. But Anish Giri missed knight to f6, and here Anish Giri simply blundered this queen. This move, queen capture on f5, and then queen to e2 played by Carlsen, and rook to c1, queen capture on h5, queen to f6, rook capture on d4, and then this game ended by threefold repetition. I think that Anish Giri deserved to lose this game, and by this Carlsen simply win the tournament. So yeah, this was the game. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this game, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, you can check out my previous videos, and see you in the next videos.